This girl wakes up every day. She has to tie her hands and feet. Then she puts on a collar and sits in a wheelchair and waits for the soldiers with guns to push her out of the room because she is a second-generation zombie, a child born from a human infected with the zombie virus. And there are many other children like her. On the surface, they look like normal humans, but once they smell blood, they will reveal their zombie nature. In order to develop an antidote to the zombie virus, all these children have been brought to a research base. Every day, they sit in special wheelchairs to learn about humans, but the world outside the base has long been overrun by zombies. After years of investigation by researchers, these second-generation zombies are more intelligent than normal people. Especially the second-generation zombie named Xiao Mei is the most powerful. Her essays often make her teachers cry. This day, the teacher was about to touch her. He was stopped by the soldiers. Then he wiped off the adhesive on his arm to do an experiment. Without the protection of the gel, the second generation of zombies all exploded into bloodthirsty nature. Only Mei, who has strong control, didn't mutate, but it was precisely because she suppressed herself this time. The next morning, she was pushed out of the base by soldiers. This was the first time Xiao Mei had ever breathed outside, but before she could enjoy the fresh air, she was taken to a secret laboratory. Apparently, she was chosen for her intelligence, to be experimented on by the researchers. At that moment, the zombies outside have broken through the wall and stormed the base. Just as the doctor pulled down the curtains and was about to take action against Xiao Mei, a zombie suddenly rushed behind her. It bit into her arm. That's when the zombie crisis broke out. In the next second, the woman was instantly mutated. The doctor was so scared that he hid in the toilet, while the lab was in chaos. Xiao Mei, who was lying on the operating table, rushed out of the lab, but when she came outside, the place has been taken over by zombies, but they didn't attack her, because she is a descendant of a zombie. She's a second-generation zombie. Since it's her first time to smell a human's odor, Xiao Mei couldn't control herself. She made a flying leap and attacked a soldier. Since it was the first time she tasted the smell of humans, she directly fell into a fainting spell. When the teacher saw her, she didn't think twice. She picked up Xiao Mei and rushed to the last car leaving the base. But since the zombie virus has been out for 10 years, even though they escaped, their chances of survival were slim. Soon after they escaped, they arrived at a safe place. In order to prevent Mei from biting, they put a special mask on her and tied her to the roof of the car. They must find a new shelter as soon as possible, but the zombies have already spread all over the city. Now they have to get through the herd to get to the supermarket to get supplies. They cover their bodies in barrier gel. They made it through the dormant herd, but after this group, there's another herd waiting for them. I don't think many people would dare to walk through this weird scene. Suddenly, just then, a zombie mother pushing a stroller slowly came over. The doctor was curious and wanted to check on the baby, but when he lifted the cloth, he was shocked by the scene inside and screamed. The surrounding zombies were alerted. Luckily, the soldiers opened fire in time, killed a bloody road, so they hurriedly hid on the second floor of the supermarket. Temporarily rest for a while, but it's not practical to hide here all the time. But looking at the zombies downstairs, they had no choice. Unexpectedly at this moment, Xiao Mei, the second generation of zombies, said she had a solution. Because the zombies won't attack her, she can find a way to attract them to leave. So the girl put on her mask and opened the door. She slowly walked towards the zombies outside. The whole city is full of zombies, but this girl can move back and forth freely because she's a second generation zombie. She's the child of a female zombie. In order to let the surviving humans escape from here, the smart girl, Mei, went straight through the zombies. She grabbed a puppy. She went to the place with the most zombies. When the zombies smelled the odor of their own kind, they instantly attacked the puppy. Soon all the zombies were attracted by the puppy and left the area. Then they set out to find shelter again. They traveled through the streets and alleys of the city. Soon they found a mobile experimental car. After checking, all the facilities here are still working, but the one drawback was that the car couldn't be driven. As time went on, Mei became hungry and dizzy. In order to eat food, she snuck outside. Surprisingly, she found a group of second-generation zombies, but they didn't seem to be able to speak. Obviously they have not been educated. After seeing this scene, she rushed back to the lab and told everyone. On the other hand, Blackie, who had gone outside to look for supplies, but he couldn't find his way back. Seeing that Blackie did not come back, everyone rushed out of the truck to look for him. It took a lot of effort to find Blackie, but now he's already dead. Sensing something wrong, Xiao Mei rushed to persuade them to leave, but just as they were about to leave, they were suddenly surrounded by a group of second-generation zombies. The soldier tried to pick up his gun, but Mei stopped him, because he wanted to prove himself with his strength. Soon after, Xiao Mei targeted the leader of the second generation of zombies. He picked up a stick and gave the boss a good beating. After seeing Xiao Mei's power, they all dared not come forward. They could only watch them leave the area. They thought they had escaped the crisis. However, just as they entered the experimental car, they were knocked out by a mysterious odor. It turns out that the doctor has been bitten by a zombie. Now she wants to study the antidote on Xiao Mei's body as soon as possible. But when she carried Xiao Mei to the operating table, Xiao Mei woke up quickly due to her special physical condition. She had no choice. The doctor had no choice but to try to convince her to sacrifice her life for her research. But at this point, Mei was not moved, because she is a living being. She has the right to control her life. Then she escaped from the lab and left. The doctor wanted to go after her. Unfortunately, she ran into a group of zombies and lost her life. Mei went to a big tree full of zombie virus. She set it on fire. The smoke spread over the city. Soon the officer who smelled the smoke was mutated. With his last ounce of strength, he handed his pistol to Xiao Mei, hoping that Mei could free him completely. Eventually, the officer got his wish. The next day, the whole city was attacked by the zombie virus, but because the teacher was trapped in the experimental car, she became the only human who survived. survived. At the end of the story, the teacher did not give up her work. She stayed in the experimental car. She began to educate the second generation of zombies. The world has become a zombie-dominated world.